One of your big accomplishments is having won the New York Phillies Triple Crown on Chris Everett. That's one of your most memorable highlights, I think, of your career.
Right.
You've won the Kentucky Derby. Who were you aboard that time?
I was aboard Pleasant Colony.
Pleasant Colony.
1981.
81. And you've won the Preakness.
I won the Preakness with the same horse. I was in the position that Big Brown, Mr.
You were
Brown.
coming up for the third leg of the
I
Triple
was
Crown.
in the same position. He won the first two, I won the first two, and I was a favorite for the Belmont Stakes. It didn't happen. The pace was very slow that day, I recall, and my horse was a plotter. He was just one stride, so couldn't close in a slow pace. Finished third. Disappointed, very disappointed.
George, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the trainer of that horse was Johnny Campo.
Correct. Mr. Campo was the trainer of Pleasant Colony. Very flamboyant, good trainer. I won a lot of races for that guy.
Now, interesting, the connection here, unbeknownst to me at this time, was that I started at the racetrack walking hots for Johnny Campo. So I know the man very well. I knew him. A very nice guy, and certainly a racetrack personality, as you said.
Right.
Having said that, you were set up now for the third leg, and I'm sure that you were probably the favorite going in, or?
He was a favorite going in, and the pace was very, very slow, and couldn't close no ground and going that slow in a mile and a half. He went up third, ran a good race still, considering the pace.
So I'm sure one of your messages to anyone that's listening is that regardless of what the statisticians say, you can't count anyone in or out of a race until it's run.
That's right. It's not over until the fat lady sings.
Okay. All right. Having said that, you've had many established points in your career. You've also come close, what I consider to be a very special achievement, riding Alydar. And unfortunately in sports, most people only remember the winner, and they forget second and thirds. However, the accomplishments you had on Alydar, coming second 3 times in a row for the Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont, was phenomenal. Would that be your greatest achievement, do you feel, or do you feel that's just one of the many highlights of your career?
One of my many highlights of my career. I believe that winning the Derby was the greatest experience I ever had as a rider. And going back to Affirm Alydar, it's the first time ever happened. The first time ever happened in the history of racing. The horse finished second in the Triple Crown, and by a small margin.
So close.
So when you say Affirm, automatically you're saying Alydar.
It almost reminds me, for the public's sake, of boxing, where we had Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier.
Correct.
And they were continually 2 super heavyweights, and had Muhammad Ali not come along, perhaps Joe Frazier would have been the reigning champion.
Right.
We have George Foreman and others too, but these were 2 certain superstars, and the rest of the field was trying to catch up with either one of them.
Joe Frazier used to get the best out of Muhammad Ali, and that's exactly what happened between Affirm and Alydar. Alydar used to get the best out of it.
I'm not a bloodlines expert, but I believe Alydar went on to be the better stallion. He produced great sires, and the racing world would have been remiss had Alydar not come along and you not ridden him to 3 seconds. And I think later on, as a 4-year-old, he came back, and did you beat Affirm once? I know as a 2-year-old you beat Affirm in the early part of his career.
As a 2-year-old, I beat him in the Champagne. That was the very first time I rode Alydar. And then as a 3-year-old in the Travers. The Travers, he got disqualified. Affirm got disqualified, and I guess Pincay, that was in Affirm that day, he, in my opinion, he missed George. How fast my horse was running inside of him, and when he came in, and he shut me off badly. Affirm was so athletic that he lost about 6-7 lengths right away, but he got himself together and he came back again and still finished second closing.
I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come here. I appreciate it. You're a class act, my friend.
Thank you, Doc. I'm glad to be here.